Hello, my name is Amy Rofail and I am with the Jerusalem Connection Report, and this is your Friday Red Alert. Dietrich Bonhoeffer once said that the measure of the morality of a society is how it treats its children. I want to discuss this today as we think about ways to arm ourselves with information to combat BDS and anti-Semitic movements that occur worldwide. On July 31st, 2015, in the West Bank community of Dumas, 2 homes were the victims of a terrorist act of arson. A child, a toddler, was murdered as a result. The IDF quickly investigated this crime and actually noted openly that it was an act of terrorism by Jewish extremists, and the victims were indeed 2 Muslim families, and a young Muslim child was murdered. In direct and quick response, Benjamin Netanyahu openly and publicly condemned the act, named it for what it was, and called it terrorism. And he called President Abbas of the PA to personally offer his condolences and how horrified he was at this act, and that he vowed that his law enforcement agency would seek justice and bring the perpetrators to justice. Now, the Knesset that same weekend called an emergency meeting of the Security Council, and they offered broadened countermeasure tools to the law enforcement agencies. They specifically included in those tools the objective of seeking and deterring any and all Jewish extremists and Jewish terrorist activities. Moreover, thousands of Israelis across the nation went to the streets in protest to condemn the actions of these Jewish terrorists, to offer solidarity and support to their Arab neighbors. They know all too well what it feels like to be the victim and target of terrorism and to bury their innocent, including their children. So this reaction by the law enforcement, by the government, and by the people of Israel is a clear, demonstrative fact that they value human rights, they do not condone terrorist activity, and they seek justice, and they want to protect their children at all costs. In the town of Sderot, in the southeast of Israel, near the Gaza border, since 2001, over 15,000 rockets have been launched from Gaza into this civilian community. The result is a long-standing issue of PTSD amongst the children, and now many of whom are now teenagers and young adults. Property values are down, property destruction is up, and the economic base is certainly affected by this constant destruction and rebuild. The Israeli government spent time and money and painstaking efforts to protect its population in this location. They have bomb shelters and preschool playgrounds, public parks, bus stops, and various corners around different residential communities, all in efforts to protect its population. When the sirens go off, the population has 60 seconds to find shelter in one of these bomb shelters. This is how the Israeli government and the people and various philanthropic organizations seek to protect its civilian population. The same cannot be said of the neighboring Gaza, from which these launching rockets are often from schools and hospitals and even people's living rooms, as the terrorists use human shields to protect their launching pads, and in an effort to condemn Israel when they seek to counterstrike the launching pads. Even the UN has noted these war crimes. My point here in bringing this up to you all is that when you hear about these BDS movements and these protests against the state of Israel, that they are a racist or apartheid state, or that they are violators of human rights protections, I want you to realize that if you look at the facts on the ground, the events that occur in that nation, and how the government, how the law enforcement, and how the people react to these situations, you can see that that is not the truth. And when you contrast that to many of its neighbors, including those in Gaza, who use their children as human shields and who use Israeli children as targets, that you can make a better assessment of wherein the outrage needs to lie and which side of the Arab-Israeli conflict needs to be supported, and what true measures can take place in order to obtain peace. Remember, the measure of a nation, its morality, may be tested by how it treats its children. How Israel treats its children and others' children is one case in point to offer you some facts. Shabbat Shalom.